is Nicholas Paulette, Director of Public Affairs for the General Delegation of Flanders here in the United States. This is our 12th time we are holding this ceremony in the city of New York. So we're very grateful that all of you came out this morning to be with us and commemorate the lives lost 100 years ago.
Good morning to everyone. Welcome to the DeWitt Clinton Park, and thank you for joining us today. On April 6th, 1917, the United States declared war on the Central Powers, as well as increasing the number of Allied troops on the ground. In the summer of 1918, the entry of the Americans in the war, led by General Pershing, revived morale against the Allies. The focus was now on hope and victory. The fighting continued until November 11th. Nearly 5 million American veterans served in this great war. 116,000 of them, men and women, gave their lives. Our memorial today is part of 4 ceremonies remembering the solemn voyage of the Wheaton from Europe to the United States exactly 100 years ago. The ship carried home 5,169 fallen military members, representing almost every unit in the American Expeditionary Force and nearly every country in the United States. In Dutch we say nooit meer oorlog. En français on dit plus jamais de guerre. In German we say nie wieder Krieg. And in English we say no more war. The beautiful statue of a doughboy with poppers in his hand is inscribed with a verse of one of the most poignant reminders of World War I, the moving poem In Flanders Fields, written by John McCrae.
This doughboy is one of 9 that we have sculptures of in our park system. The person who fought in the trenches, literally and figuratively, and gave their lives, often did not return and left families in grief. There was a comment that the sculptor himself made about the presence of monuments in civic life and their ongoing value. And I just want to again thank all of you for being here. Thank especially the government of Flanders for its ongoing support and its organizing this event, frankly, because that reinvigorates the site, that gives it ongoing meaning, that goes beyond the granite and the bronze.
Good morning. Just want to say, it's a beautiful day in the city to celebrate our renewal after the past year's struggles and to reflect on the sacrifices of those who paved the way for all who stand here right now. I serve as Commissioner for the New York City Department of Veteran Services. We represent the 210,000 service members past and present, along with their families, caregivers, and survivors who call New York City home. To have that homecoming 100 years ago today here, it meant so much in recognizing the moment and just the largesse of it. We do these events to remember the sacrifice that so many made to work towards us being a better society, to work towards building a peace. It's an upward zigzag. Everyone knows the story of what happened after the Great War and what followed. But you look at this current state where we're still working on it, but every single day, every action, one step at a time, we're building order and we're becoming a better species and doing what we can to paint a better picture for our descendants as humanity. And so with that, we're so proud and so happy to commemorate those war dead who came here from Antwerp, who came here from having fought in the Great War, and all who have sacrificed for peace in just mankind. And so I just want to, say those things and read the proclamation. And once again, we appreciate all who are here today as we have this commemoration. Now, let's get to it. Whereas, since the birth of our country, brave individuals from New York and across the country have proudly enlisted in all branches of the United States Armed Forces. These heroes continue to inspire us with their valiant service, both on the home front and abroad and around the world. We owe them an unpayable debt of gratitude for their unwavering dedication to protecting our democratic ideals, and every year Memorial Day gives us an opportunity to recognize their service. This year, It is an honor to join with Flanders House to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the arrival of 44,000 fallen World War II heroes in New York Harbor. Whereas, we are committed to providing our armed forces members with the jobs, housing, and educational services that they unquestionably deserve. The New York City Department of Veteran Services continues to work hard every day to provide a bedrock of support for veterans across the 5 boroughs. However, it is the duty of all New Yorkers to demonstrate their gratitude by paying tribute to the courageous service members who have risked everything to safeguard our city and our country, and Flanders House has been instrumental in ensuring that the legacies of these intrepid men and women are never forgotten. Whereas, the landing of the U.S. Army Transport Wheaton in New York Harbor brought thousands of heroes, including women, African Americans, and immigrants who were lost in World War I, home to rest. As you come together in DeWitt Clinton Park, I'm proud to stand with Flanders House and all those gathered around the Clinton War Memorial as we remind ourselves of the powerful words inscribed on this landmark's pedestal, and salute the veterans whose unparalleled spirit, resiliency, and tenacity continue to motivate us to forge a brighter and safer future for all. Now, therefore, I, Bill de Blasio, 109th Mayor of the City of New York, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, May 18th, 2021 in the City of New York as Flanders Fields Memorial Day. Signed, Bill de Blasio, Mayor, City of New York.
I'm honored to be here with you today to pay tribute to all of those who fought in Flanders Fields during World War I and made the ultimate sacrifice. As you know, close to 5 million Americans served in World War I, and over 2 million Americans, men and women, crossed the Atlantic to support the Allied troops on the battlefields of Europe. 4 American divisions, totaling 40,000 men, fought in Flanders in June and July of 1918, where they suffered heavy losses. The sacrifice of these brave doughboys helped slow down the German army as it prepared an offensive against France, making it possible for French and American forces to win a series of decisive battles months later and declare victory. France owes an eternal debt of gratitude to the men who fought in Flanders Fields and to all the Americans who fought by our side in World War I. The arrival of US forces brought back hope to these men and allowed them to make the final push to defeat the Germans. It is also important to note that if the Belgian army had not fought as bravely as it did in the early days of the war, holding up the German offensive on France for nearly a month, the French and British troops would have probably had insufficient time to prepare for the Marne counteroffensive, and France could have been forced to surrender. Lastly, the Americans who crossed the Atlantic to fight by our side began a great new period of cooperation between our two countries. France and the United States stood shoulder to shoulder against the Nazis 20 years later, and America helped free us from German occupation. After World War II, we built international institutions that have made it possible for countries across the world to resolve their differences peacefully. France wishes to reaffirm the gratitude to the 2 million Americans who helped France, England, and Belgium win the war that, as President Wilson said, seemed to hold civilization in the balance. And for the personal sacrifice of more than 80,000 of heroes who paid the ultimate price, notably in Flanders Fields. In closing, let us also remember that the best way to honor the American heroes who gave us so much will be to dedicate ourselves to the unfinished work that they fought for and so nobly advanced. By strengthening the alliance between free people, nourishing the attitudes that allows liberty and democracy to flourish, and strengthening the institutions that enable us to resolve our differences peacefully. Thank you very much.
In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row that mark our place. And in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below. We are dead. Short days ago, we lived. Fell dawn, saw sunset glow. Loved and were loved. And now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands, we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
And now we will begin with the wreath laying ceremony. First wreath is on behalf of the government of Flanders, Belgium and its people. The Consulate General of France in New York. The Consulate General of Germany in New York. And on behalf of the great city of New York and its inhabitants.